Hey guys, welcome back to Fourth Wall Reactions. Today I'm checking out more Black Sails. This is episode 7 of season 2. Last episode, Jack had some success at sea and made a mess at home. Killing people. Flint, Vane, Eleanor, and Miranda are all in this plan involving the Ash family, Miss Abigail and her father. Vane wants the man of war. Eleanor is trying to sneak Abigail out of the fort. I'm very nervous about that. Billy was welcomed back into the fold. He revealed that there was an offer, a deal from the Royal Navy regarding Flint. So Dufresne, he told Dufresne, and I don't trust that guy at all. Silver is sort of wavering. I think because all of this to doing means they're just not getting back to the beach and the Urca Gold. A lot is going on. So, gotta get back to this. Let's check it out.
I know Captain Flint's name.
Huh?
My father's mentioned it in his letters. He says Captain Flint is the most wicked of the New World pirates, that he's evil. Promise me my escape isn't some awful ruse to deliver me from one madman to the hands of another.
His way, a lot of them will die tonight. My way, they won't. And we'll gain the favor of a man who can move this place a step closer to sustainability.
Perhaps. But still, his argument seems to be the easier one. Captain Flint will betray anyone to get what he wants. Yesterday it was Mr. Gates, today it was me. Which one of you would like to be tomorrow?
Captain?
He has a point.
A shining future it would have to be. For him to blind you to the cowardly and devious acts of his past. Theft, betrayal, lies, murder!
You're pirates.
They're supposed to be watching over the gold until we arrive. What the fuck are they doing back? Because there's no longer any gold to watch over.
No! Oh! Damn it, I knew they were not going to get back to that damn beach in time.
When you are ready, I will be downstairs. And we can discuss what comes next.
I mean, I'm assuming that she's...
I was married to a man once. Shared me with his men. I didn't know any different. Didn't know I could do anything about it. He was hurting me. And the man saw it. He slit his throat. I was Jack. I was 13. I always thought he saved me from something. And I wonder, maybe Jack took me from something I was supposed to figure my own way out of.
There's no we. We stopped being a thing of any relevance about an hour ago. I believe I've been clear about
Gold
the nature
gone.
of my investment here. The gold was the inducement. Don't try to convince me to do it for the sake of their futures.
For the sake of your own.
Yeah.
Those men listen to you. What you think, what you want them to think. Where else in the world is that true? Where else would you wake up in the morning and matter?
I think it's clear what needs to happen next, Billy.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be on that.
Do you think you could find 8 men that would see things the same way? Men who would be willing to betray the captain,
To hand him
assist us
over.
in subduing him, and deliver him to the Navy by force? I do. Then find them.
Oh, no. Oh,
We'll have
Billy.
gloves in now. Let me move.
That's disappointing.
Why me?
You seem nice.
Seem vulnerable. She's so obviously traumatized and vulnerable. He's like preying upon her. Ugh.
No, alright. Not a problem. Well, why don't we,
This sound is doing the thing that happened when she was killing people.
Are you kidding me? You can't do this. I'm sorry, she's new.
God, she's just totally shut down.
What is this?
Billy.
Have you ever been tortured? What? Suffered pain applied by men who saw you as less than a man. Saw you as an animal.
I just fell in love with him all over again.
I said what I had to say to get out of that place, but I have no intention of honouring their offer. I would fight to the death to ensure not a single one of my brothers ever has to face what I faced.
Oh,
Mr. Dufresne here has identified you men as the most likely to represent such a problem. Was he right?
If you ain't got the balls to stand up to Flint, maybe you...
up. Yeah. You don't stand up to this man. Look at him. Jeez. You're off the crew. Sayonara.
There will be no more dissent against Captain Flint. There will be no subversion of his plans. There will be nothing but adherence to the principle that we are, none of us, safe. Until we are all safe.
Oh, I love him.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
No.
Then be on your way.
Oh.
I saved your life. I killed him. For you. Low in his crew. I killed them all.
That's
To
true.
protect you.
You didn't do it for me.
Well, a little bit.
Put down that key. Walk back through that gate.
You've already betrayed him.
Abigail,
He's...
and I will sort this with the men.
He
You have
won't.
my word. And there is no walking back through it. Ever. And I assure you, you will hear from me again.
Oh. Oh. I mean, you know what? She had already betrayed him. He would not have let that go.
I can only scavenge leads generated by Eleanor for so long. I have an appetite for something larger than that, and it requires expanding. For this, I need a partner with knowledge of the sea, and I need a partner I can trust.
Oh.
Hello, Abigail.
Do you remember her?
I'm Miranda Hamilton. Do you remember me?
Aww. Aww. This girl has been through it. I just don't know how Eleanor is gonna stand against Vane. Like, get on a boat right now and just go. Any parental affection whatsoever? Oh, there we go. I was waiting for that. Now run.
So, we are without a quartermaster for the moment. We should take care to steer the men towards a replacement from Hornigold's men. I don't mean to be blunt, but what the fuck are you doing? Why am I supporting your captaincy? Yes.
Yes.
When I went into the water that night, I remember as I was falling, reaching out, grasping your hand. And the last thing I remember before I went into the water was feeling it slip away. Now, I told the men you tried to save me. But the truth is, it's just as likely you let go.
So,
Drop me into the sea. Which do you think it was? Doesn't much matter as far as I can tell. I'm more focused on what comes next than what's past. I believe that for what comes next, the men of this crew will need your leadership. So I will do what needs to be done to preserve it,
wow.
protect it. Mr. Gates turned his back on you. Don't think for a second I'll make the same mistake he did.
Captain?
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Be very, very nice.
I'm a friend of your family's. And I'm a friend of yours.
You're Captain Flint.
My name is James. James McGraw.
Aw.
Unless we had something to offer them that might change their thinking about us.
You think there's something valuable enough to make the British Navy forget that you and I are pirates?
Not what? Who?
You're gonna tell him. I used to like Dufresne.
Before you can say.
I liked him in the first season. Look what happened.
If you and I aren't careful, we might actually see this thing through.
They are jinxing the hell out of this, by the way.
I took her without his consent. You know that, don't you?
I had the thought.
The things I have destroyed to reach this moment. Everything and anything that stood in its way.
A few hours ago, a launch arrived. 2 of our men who were scouting the Ochre Gold were returning to the island against their instructions. You see, they had been told very clearly by Captain Flint to remain with the Ochre until we arrived. To help us prepare our sword.
They told Flint the gold was gone.
Yes.
What did they tell you?
That a tropical disease had befallen the Spanish camp. Dozens dead, dying.
Oh.
Many more suffering. The Ochre Gold is on that beach.
Still there.
Exactly where we left it.
Oh, you little
I offered those 2 scouts a deal they simply could not reject. Help me tell a very simple lie. Do you know of a crew who might be willing to aid in this endeavor?
Oh, God. You little shit. You betrayed Flint.
Go have a look.
What the hell? What's going on? What? 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 Huh? I don't understand. Okay, so I'm in love with Billy. As should every human being be at this point. That was such a great moment. Okay. See if I can sum up what I want to say about this man. When he was talking with Dufresne earlier in the episode about, okay, let's do this, find the 8 men and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh man, I'm so disappointed. How could he do that? And just, I think he has in the past expressed enough suspicion of Flint to make you believe that he would do it. But I did think, this is so quick. Like, this is happening way too fast. But I did buy it. But I was so disappointed in him because I just thought, you really? The first sign of, okay, all right. Didn't have the character I thought it would. But the second that he showed up with the other men, I was like, oh, this was a ruse. Yeah, this you did this to ferret out the traitors. And he is the MVP of this episode. But that was a fantastic moment. And absolutely. I mean, they had only showed some of his torture. And what they showed of it was horrible. And they just showed him looking so bad and just all the things that have happened to him. So despite any misgivings that he had about Flint, and he had them. It's not that Billy has been totally won over. It's not that he, is convinced of, oh, everything Flint's doing is great. I mean, he continues to question, and he has had questions, serious doubts about him in the past. But having been through that experience, I love what he said about that. There's just no way that he would sell anybody out to that fate, and that is why he is my husband. So, I am Mrs. Billy. You may address me as such. Sorry. I will share him if you are also Mr. or Mrs. Billy. There's enough of him to go around. So he is just fantastic, and I love him. And I also really, really love the ambiguity about that moment. And I've been wondering about it for so long, about that night that he fell into the ocean. I like that he said that he could remember the feeling of Flint's hand trying to hold him. But I mean, with all the wind and the rain and the just everything that was happening, I like that there's ambiguity there, and it's up for interpretation, even to the characters themselves. You know, like this scenario wasn't sketched out to us as viewers as such that we could really make a solid judgment call. I don't think they're ever going to really show it, you know, that scene. So I really like the ambiguity there because it really puts the characters in this mindset of, you know, I don't know what you did or what you didn't do. But at this point, Billy is the most trustworthy, loyal, just follow Billy, everybody. At this point, I'm feeling like Billy is the most valuable asset that Flint can have. It's certainly not Silver anymore. Before the scene where you see Billy, you know, leading all the other men there, you have Billy saying, all right, you know, we're going to betray Flint, basically. We're going to turn him over. And you have Silver, who has done a little sneaky betrayal under the radar. And, you know, he did so at the first... he was wavering already. I saw him last episode, and he was honest about it, that his vote was wavering. But after that point, he was not honest to Flint about anything. He is who he is, and his priority is the gold, and he really doesn't see Flint in any light other than who can help me get to this prize. So it's disappointing that he's betrayed him and done this thing, but it's absolutely in character. And he's pretty much said, in not so many words, but he said he was going to do it. And he was the polar opposite of Billy. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that plays out. But what a little shit. Honestly. I still like Silver, but I'm very disappointed in Silver. Even though I know it's just who he is. It's exactly what he would do. I get it. I do get it. Speaking of underhanded, I'm also not surprised that Dufresne would take this information, this offer, and take it to Horn of Gold. It's Dufresne. I remember really liking Dufresne at one point, back in season 1. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all at Dufresne. He needed to go. As far as Vane and Eleanor are concerned, listen, I'm sorry if I was babbling too much during all the Eleanor and Abigail scenes, but you're like escaping in the dead of night, and I don't know if the torchlight and the whispering and the clanking, are the things that brought Vane down to them. I don't know how, but I just felt like, first of all, save it. Talk later, escape now. Don't just stand there. Lend a hand. What are you doing? It was very nerve-wracking. And as always, I feel very nervous for Eleanor whenever she's in Vane's presence. Even when she's in his good graces. He makes me very nervous. He is not a nice man. I will never forget their first scene together where, yes, she slapped him. If I'm remembering correctly, he then punched the hell out of her face. So I have never forgotten that, never will forget it. I think I've always felt nervous for her in his presence. But absolutely from the second that she committed to doing this, to taking Abigail out, she was committed to this choice. Whether she unlocked the gate and went back, I 100% believe he would have not let that slide. She had already betrayed him. I don't think there was any going back. Just, that's my hot take on it. She would have been punished mercilessly. I don't know if she would, I don't know if he would have killed her, but he would not have let this go. And now, I mean, I was thinking about it. Okay, so, and I was like, now that she's out of this position, but they're all like back at her inn and her place of business, and they're all chilling. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to come for you. Get out of there. But it is true. He will have his own men to deal with. But it was the middle of the night. I don't know if they were aware of that. He could have easily just run back up and gotten out of the fort and come directly to her. So I don't know what kind of protection she's going to have. I just don't know. It just, that whole situation just really, my anxiety levels are very high. And it's nice to see a little bit of parental affection from Mr. Guthrie, though who knows how genuine any of it is. I just don't trust that man for a second. And I really don't know what that thing was at the end. I have zero clue. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at it because I don't know what's going on. And I thought Captain Flint had a very interesting role in this episode because essentially it was as a passive receptor of news, one way or another. I mean, there was really nothing he could do. He kind of had to wait for his men to decide. There was a vote. He was just waiting on Eleanor and Abigail. He was finagling Silver. He was doing all this stuff, but yet it was all very from a very passive position. So he seemed kind of helpless in a way. I mean, just all he could do was wait. Yeah. And I do like when he introduced himself to Abigail that he used his real name just as a kind of a way to distance himself from his pirate reputation and just to who he really is. And introducing himself as the man that her father knew, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So I don't know when they're all leaving. I feel like they should do it very soon. And last but not least, Anne Bonny. I had said a whole bunch of times in the first season, like, when are we going to get more Anne? When are we going to get more Anne? And I wasn't thinking about, how we were going to get more Anne, just that we got her. And we did. Got more of Anne Bonny when she was involved with the freeing Max plot, and then just getting to know her a little bit through this, threesome, not, just the actual threesome, but, just this partnership of three that she has with Jack and Max. And now we're getting a little more backstory, and it's heartbreaking to see her so broken and so vulnerable and just so beaten down. At the same time, I appreciate the different level of the performance because, we know Anne Bonny, the pirate. She's got, the attitude, and she's tough, and she got the snarl and hat, and she's got all that. But, this is like a totally different side to her. And even though it's a tragic side, it's still nice to see. It feels weird to say that, it's so nice to see how broken she is. But you know what I mean, just performance-wise, it's nice to see that the actress playing Anne has another mode. And I'm sure she wouldn't have been cast as Anne if she didn't. So, but it's good to finally see it. And I really appreciated that. It was very touching when Max was comforting her. If I feel like I'm leaving some stuff out, but it was one of those episodes where there was a lot going on. Not even really, I mean, there was a lot of plot, but there were a lot of character moments and character loyalty shifting and, several huge shifts of loyalty. You have Eleanor shifting away from Vane. You have Billy and Silver shifting. You have Dufresne. You have, it was a real turning point as far as all that goes. And I can only assume all this sets up for the rest of this season, which only have 3 more episodes. However, I know from this show we can have a lot happen in 3 episodes, so who the hell knows? All right, easily one of my favorite episodes of the show so far. I think I really loved episode 5 when we found out more about Flint That was a great episode, really touching, really beautiful. This, you know how much I love Billy. So that was just, yeah. So this is one of my favorite episodes as Mrs. Billy. All right, thanks so much for watching this with me. I really love the episode. If you enjoyed the reaction, please feel free to give it a like, a share, and a subscribe. A full reaction is on Patreon. And be sure to join me for the next episode. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Bye.